The growth mindset. Is it all hype or nonfiction? Let's check it out. What's up, my good people? This is Joey Young, and today I'm talking about the growth mindset, its application in our lives and how we can use it to get more results. You see, millions of people have already used the growth mindset shift to help them to create real results in their life and business, so that's what we're talking about today. Real quick before that, take a moment to hit the like button right below this video. It really does help the algorithm put this video before more people who need to see it. So take a moment to hit that like button and I will be eternally grateful. Thank you. Alright, so I'm sure at some point in your life you've come across this idea of the growth versus the fixed mindset. It's the idea that the growth mindset is that magic pill to success, to getting whatever you want. It's really that silver bullet that's supposed to help you out in any situation to achieve whatever result you want. It's supposed to help, high performers get the results they want in their jobs and their business. It's supposed to help you as a parent, as a teacher, as a coach. I mean, it's the promises are endless. But what is its actual real life application for us high performers looking to get more results in our day-to-day lives? Well, to get to the bottom of this, we do need to answer 3 questions. First of all, what is the growth mindset? What are its pros and cons if we were to implement it into our life? And finally, how can it actually help us get more results? So let's jump in. So what is the growth mindset? Well, it's an idea popularized by Carol Dweck, PhD. She wrote a book called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, and it basically outlines this dichotomy of thought around people from 2 different camps. So the first is the growth mindset people, and the second is the fixed mindset people. She argues that growth mindset people, in general, view the world and people as growing, changing, evolving, ever improving. If you're a growth mindset individual, you believe that you yourself and other people are not fixed in your abilities and your potential and your character traits. You can grow and change. Fixed mindset people, on the other hand, believe that the world is pretty much as it is, that people don't really improve. They kind of are the way they are. They have their competencies, they have their strengths, and that's pretty much it. So that dichotomy can also be chopped up into different areas of life. You can be a mix. For example, you might think that individuals are fixed in their sports abilities, but maybe in their cognitive learning abilities, they have the opportunity to learn and grow. So you can be a mix of both, but in general, you can throw people into either camp. So the hallmarks of a growth mindset, how you can tell that you or someone else has it, is a person with a growth mindset relishes a challenge. Someone who has a growth mindset will look at an opportunity to expend effort and get pretty excited about it. They'll look at problems and want to dive in and to get their hands dirty and solve them, whereas a fixed mindset person looks at effort in a negative way. So a fixed mindset person might look at a task or a job that doesn't come easily to them or isn't fun necessarily and throw it out and say, you know what, I don't want to do this. This takes too much work, whereas a growth mindset person takes on the challenges more readily. Another hallmark of the growth mindset is not viewing tests as measurements of intelligence and a person's ability, but more as an idea of where that person's learning is at a particular time. So if you got a standardized test at 18 of your math skills, for example, a growth mindset person will look at that as a snapshot of where that person is in time with their math abilities, and that can be changed with effort. Whereas a fixed mindset person will look at a test for an 18-year-old in the area of math and say, that's that person's skill at math. If they were better at math, then they'd be better at math by now, and they don't have the ability to improve that too much. Another sign of the growth mindset is people with the growth mindset arrive at the top of their field or the top job or an extreme competency level in some area because of a passion for what they do. And they really enjoy the process of learning and growing and developing skill sets, and their love for the process, for the game, gets them to a high level of competency. Whereas people who excel with a fixed mindset usually do so because they want to be the best and receive the accolades or the rewards or the clout for being at the top of their game, the best job, the best income, the best person in their field. So now we have an idea of what the growth mindset is. Let's talk about the pros and cons of developing a growth mindset for ourselves. One of the pros of a growth mindset is it does discourage this idea of being a failure or the shame mentality. it really does help people who are stuck in self-defeating mindsets or negative self-talk to instead develop this growing and molding and maturing view of themselves where they're always improving, they're always becoming better, and they're always learning, as opposed to someone who just tells themselves that they suck at something and they always will. So if you're someone who struggles with beating yourself up, this is something that could be really, really useful for yourself. Another pro is it does encourage testing new ideas, new habits, new thoughts, new approaches to achieve a goal. It's a very flexible way of viewing the world, and it helps us to have the same outcome that we're working towards, but not get stuck in one particular approach. So it can be really good if we're someone who tends to just, grind our gears trying one thing over and over and over again. That whole definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, that whole saying. It helps us to change up our approach, which can be really useful for some people. Another pro is it does put the focus on loving the process itself, loving the path to the goal, because some people do have an issue with being so results focused that they will do anything in the current moment to get to that outcome, and that leads to this flip-flop cycle of misery, a moment of reward on an outcome, and then back to misery again as we work towards that next result. So it is helpful in that sense. The cons of the growth mindset? Well, when I was thinking about it, the one way that I believe the growth mindset could do more harm than good is if someone's reading it and is almost using it as justification for focusing on the process and not getting results. Because the growth mindset is so focused on engaging with challenge and putting in effort and learning and growing, it taken to an extreme, it can almost be used as an excuse for not meeting the end goal, meeting the deadline, getting the results, because you're like, well, I tried 5 different ways. I just got to keep trying different things. Or, I did this and that, and I learned so much in this process. And then, you look at the results, and you're like, I didn't really get anything done, but you learned a lot, so it's good. So one thing you got to watch out for is if, you're someone who tends to spin wheels or not get results because you're, so focused on the work and the love of the challenge that you actually don't get to the end result, which is important. You got to watch out for that. And you cannot use the fact that you learned a whole lot as an excuse for not getting results in a lot of situations. And again, there are some people that this applies to, some that don't. If you're someone who is having trouble getting results because you do a lot of challenge for challenge's sake, that might be an issue for you. But this is really the only con that I can figure out. And I think the vast majority of people will not extrapolate or extend the meaning of the growth mindset to be an excuse. So that's just the one thing I think I would watch out for. So in summary, between the pros and cons, I do believe the growth mindset is a good approach and a great tool to help us in getting results with a few outlying cases. And in that case, you got to be self-aware. So how can we use this to get more results? Final question. We've got our growth mindset. What can we do to implement it into our lives and to get the results that we want? Well, we have to start by doing a really honest, authentic assessment of where we're at in the growth versus the fixed mindset. And it's really important that this process take place in a non-judgmental mindset. You need to do a real, honest, clear view of yourself without filtering it through idealism or self-criticism. You got to just be like, this is how it is. This is how I actually view the world, and write your answers to these 2 questions with that mindset in mind. So the first question you can write an answer to help discover if you have this growth mindset or fixed mindset is think to yourself, what do I usually do in regards to other people? Do I tend to put them in boxes as far as their ability, their intelligence, their skills, their potential? Or do I tend to look at people as works in process? Yes, they have skills here. Yes, they don't have skills here, but they have the ability to grow into new competencies. So just do a quick thought, maybe write it down. What are those things that actually happen in your head when you look at other people? Are you quick to throw them in boxes, or do you view them as works in progress? Again, the key is just let go of the judgment for a second, let go of what you should think, and just write down what actually is happening. And the second question is about yourself. When you talk to yourself, when you think to yourself about a situation that's going wrong, when you've messed up, what words come out? Do you tell yourself more often, "Oh, it sucks, but I learned this and I can't wait to get back to it"? Or do you think to yourself, "Oh, I suck at this. I'm not good at this. I can't make this happen"? What actual words come out of your brain's mouth talking to you when you hit a roadblock? Because the difference between "I suck at this" and "I suck at this right now, but I'm getting better" is actually bigger than you think. Okay, second step to utilizing the growth mindset to get more results is to create for yourself a belief busting scenario. I believe if you want to dramatically increase the level of growth mindset that you have in your life, you need to not look at it as some long-term project that'll take a year to switch yourself over. I believe it's much more effective to just, break the ice and to dive right into this and create a situation where your mindset switches really, really fast. And you do that by proving to yourself that you are a person who can grow and develop new skills and do something that you didn't think you could do. So the belief busting scenario I'm thinking about is really comes by answering this one question. What is one small, achievable within a week thing you can do that you never thought you could do? What's one small action or skill or task that you could do within a week that, sitting and thinking about it, you never thought you could do before? I know that question sounds kind of weird, but the point of this exercise is to do something quickly that initially your mind said, "Nope, I'll never be able to do that," or "Nope, I'm not that person," or "Nope, I don't have that ability." And I'll give you a great example. I was on vacation in New Zealand, and a friend of mine rented out a little cottage in a valley, and there was a lake, in the valley, and it was this beautiful setting we were at hanging out. And one day we decided to go out on the dock and do some swimming on this little lake. But from a very young age, you got to understand, I was someone who really wasn't a water person very much. I never really loved to swim. I was never on any swim teams. I never ever learned to dive. And quite frankly, when I if I'm honest, it was because I had a fear too. I really didn't think I was someone who was able to dive because I was terrified of it, and I just didn't think I was one of those people who could do it. But as I'm watching my friends on this lake in New Zealand, and they're just diving off this deck, flipping, happily, joyful, I'm thinking to myself, where are those goggles that I used to have that covered up my nose so I wouldn't get water up my nose? And then I was watching, I was getting more and more jealous, and then it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? By the end of the day, I'm going to sprint off the edge of this deck, and I'm going to dive headfirst into this water. I'm just going to do it because I want to. And I started by, of course, just standing at the edge of the deck, looking at the water, jumping in feet first, and doing something very safe and very comfortable. By a couple of jumps in, I was starting to think about diving in head first, and that first time that I actually dove and I went in head first instead of feet first, I was more horizontal than vertical, but I did get to the point where I dove in somewhat head first, and it hurt a lot, but I did it. And then by my 6th or 7th dive, I was running off this deck, which, mind you, was 10 feet from the water below. This was no kiddie pool. This deck was a good 10 feet at least from the water level, and diving off this deck headfirst into the water. And I did it, and I felt awesome. And it all happened within a couple of hours. And I get this example because if you had asked me a few days before that happened if I was ever going to be able to dive in my life, especially off a springboard, that's 10 feet from the water, I would have said you're crazy. Would have said you're stupid. That's not going to happen. But it helped me, that one act, to show myself that I am capable of doing things that I never thought I'd be capable of before. So what's one thing you can do in the next week that you never thought you could do? It's going to take some courage. It's going to take some planning, potentially. But I promise you, if you can do this one task that breaks through that unbelief barrier in your mind that stops you from doing this thing, you're going to find that you're going to start to believe in yourself more. You're going to start to develop this growth mindset that will help you in all areas of your life to believe that you can do things that you never thought you're going to do. You're going to develop more self-esteem, more courage, and more confidence in situations because you believe you have the ability to figure things out and to accomplish things that, even if you believe right now are not possible, does not limit you from doing. So I hope that helps you, my friends. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And hey, until next time, get out there and create the impossible in your life. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It really helps spread the message. And hey, I know you're the type of person who has big dreams for your life. You've got goals and you want to create a better future for yourself and your family. As a personal development coach, it's my job to help you identify and take action on whatever your next step is. So please take action right now. Click the link in the video description and book yourself a free 30-minute clarity call with myself. We'll talk about you, your challenges, and what the exact next step is for you. I can't wait to see how I can help you create the impossible in your life. So if that would be of service to you, if that would help, click the link in the video description, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.